I don't know how to run one of these things.
Just hold it and talk. You don't have a problem talking.
Yeah.
No, like me.
Well, my name is Corporal Jacob Potter, and I'm here before you instead of behind you, and I'm supposed to tell you about a few things about my life and that. Well, I was born in a small town in Nebraska, on a farmhouse, and they named a song after me. It goes something like this. Oh, well that I remember the night that I was born. 'Twas on a cold and frosty winter morn. Now the doctor, he said I was a chubby chap, 13 pounds, 10 ounces. And then the nurse, she took me on her lap, and she begged all around and about me. And then after powder pumping me, she put me to sleep in the cradle, 'neath the little shirt that mother made for me. That's my song. Okay, enough of the foolishness. I went to school. I was 4 years old when I went to first grade. Therefore, when I graduated from high school, I was just 16. I went to Wayne State College in Nebraska, and
Not good there.
and took a crammed semester during the summer, and taught school that fall. I was 17. Taught up in the rural Sand Hills of Nebraska, 25 miles from the nearest town. Well, 1 year was none of that, especially for $90 a month. So therefore, I went back and worked on a farm, and it just after picking corn with a team and a wagon and a hook on my hand, I picked over 1,000 bushel, and I said, that's enough. I joined the Army. And they put me in the Army Security Agency, and they taught me Morse code. Then they sent me to Army Language School to learn Romanian. And I said, oh, I don't know whether I like this or not. Something could happen. And I didn't get to finish because the Korean War broke out. They said, we don't need no Romanians now. So they sent me over to Japan and then Korea. And we went to Seoul, which was about that high. It was pretty bad too. The Chinese, they took, there was a fleet of Texicabs there, of Pontiacs. Evidently, General Motors must have had a factory there. But the Chinese took the motors, the transmissions, and the rear ends and took them back to China on their back, most of them. They forced the Koreans to do it. But once they replaced the bridge over the Han, we entered into the North Korea. And we took over this old building in the first floor. And that night, let's see, somebody's moving a foot locker across the floor. And so what's going on? I went up there and looked, and there. Went up there, and they said, well, that's the battleship Missouri firing over your head. So So then we figured out it'll shoot 18 miles. And we're 16 miles from the ocean. I said, whoa. I said, we're getting pretty close, aren't we? So they, I was a communication specialist. It was up to me to find the Chinese divisions by radio and direction finder, locate them. And the major said, go up on the hill and find out where that Chinese division is. So I went up there and I had a draftee with me, new draftee. I had a hut and I was listening to the Chinese. I'm not fired out the window of the Magpie. Blew all my paperwork outside. And I went up over the hill, take a rest. In the afternoon, radios don't work very well. And I sat up there having a cigarette. And what's it sound like? Mickey Mantle hitting the ball. Hit the ball with the bat. Went crack, crack, crack. What in the world is that? It was 5 soldiers down there at the bottom of the hill shooting at me. I said, whoa, the South Koreans have gone nuts shooting at me. So I put on my jacket and my chevrons and say, hey, you know, hey, crack. Uh-oh. I ain't gonna stay here no longer. And I heard a noise, and I said, wait a minute, that's a Chinese gun, that's a burp gun. And so I packed up and got the heck out of there, went down. The major says, what are you doing back here? I told you, tried to locate that Chinese. I think I found them. So it wasn't, about 3 days later, the Gloucester English regiment got captured right there. We moved out quick. Clear up north, clear up east to Yangon. And if you have trouble finding it, it's right at the bottom of Hartwick Ridge. And we sat there and watched the ambulance come and go. It was a terrible place, terrible place. They kept 30 ambulances on there all the time. And you know that you knew it was going to fight the next day. They take the hill, they lose the hill. I take the hill, they lose the hill. And the major called me in, said they're going to put you on a 9-man team. And we're going to have 3 teams, and we're going to locate the smaller stuff going on the coast. So it was 9 of us, and they didn't give us nothing to eat. They just shut us out. And food was a problem. Everything was a problem. No sleeping bags, no shoes. You couldn't get new shoes. And food was a problem. But anyway, we would join other outfits. I was with the 69th Tank Battalion. We ate there. The MPs and the Garden Road, we ate there. I went back and took the secret information back to the company, and they said, what's for chow tonight? He said, Mrs. Grass's chicken noodles. He said, I used to eat that in an envelope, you know. We had a 50-gallon barrel, Grass's chicken noodles. But it all separated. Noodles all come to the top. So it was a game called roll out the barrel. You roll out that barrel, get the big noodles all mixed up with the other stuff. It wasn't